strangers on the internet. So I am heading to Japan tonight. It's my spring break here, so I'm going for 10 days. It's gonna be amazing. But I figured while I was there, what did I want to read? And I think I'm gonna focus on finishing series. So I'm currently 47% of the way through The Lost Stories, which is the 11th book in the Ranger's Apprentice series, and this is basically a bunch of short stories that happen during the series that either fans had requested. There's one where some of the characters get separated and we follow two of the characters. So basically one of the characters gets separated and then one of the other characters goes and chases after them, and they're like, what about this third character who was left behind? And so people have requested that story, and so the author wrote it as one of these short stories. And then there's just some other fun little ones. The one I'm reading now technically takes place after the series, or the one I'm reading right now takes place after the series, because it's an event that is that we're told happens. It's a wedding. Basically, we're told that a wedding is happening. I won't tell you between what characters, but one of the other characters is writing a speech for this wedding. And so that's what I'm reading right now, and I love it. It's just okay. It's not my favorite, but it's nice to have just a little bit more of these characters before I move on. So that's the last one in that series. And then in my Kindle, I just downloaded the last Throne of Glass book, The Kingdom of Ash. I always forget the titles in that, and especially the numbering, and I've talked about this before. This one is, wait, where's the title? Yes, The Kingdom of Ash, book 7. Oh wait, can I go back to the title? Always, my inability to work my Kindle is honestly kind of astounding. Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. This is the last book, the 7th book in the Ranger's Apprentice series. In my mind, it's book 8, because the numbering system somehow got messed up in my brain with the prequel, which I read 3rd in the series. So I read Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and then Assassin's Blade, which is the prequels. And so that's book 7. And then if I get through both of those, I plan to read the 2nd book in the Debutante's duology by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I don't know why her name just escaped me for a second. But yeah, that book is that series is a duology, and so I read the first book called, it's not Pretty Little Lies, something Lies. Why am I forgetting? My brain is just not working today. Yeah, I don't remember. And then the first cover has the blue, and it's really pretty, and then the second one is the baby yellow, and that's also really pretty. I can picture it in my head, I just can't picture what the title is. So that one. And then also on my radar is another duology. The second book, it's the Monsters of Verity duology by Victoria Schwab, and the first book that I've read is The Savage Song, and the second book is Our Dark Duet. But that one and the 4th book in the Natural series, Bad Blood, so technically All In, which is the 3rd book, I put on my April TBR, and then I was just so excited to read it, so I crossed it out and put Bad Blood on instead. So I would like to wait until it officially hits April, which is so in 4 or 5 days, and then the Monsters of Verity book, Our Dark Duet, I would like to save until April so I can count it towards Magical Readathon, because one of the prompts that isn't part of my calling, I don't remember which one, but it's a book where a music word is in the title, and Our Dark Duet, and this book heavily features music, so it would also count towards my Pop Sugar prompt for that. So those are just some of the books on my radar. This video is going to focus on finishing series, so yeah. I will let you know what progress I make in The Lost Stories, which is the one I'm currently reading in. And then I will start Kingdom of Ash probably on the plane, I think. That's a long one, and it's the only one I'm planning to read via ebook. The rest of them I plan to listen to as audio, just because it's my preferred method of intaking books. yeah, but Kingdom of Ash doesn't have an audiobook that I have Audible. I don't understand the pricing on that. So I don't know if you can explain that to me. That would be really helpful, actually. So yeah, join me as I finish series in Japan. Hello. I'm gonna try and keep this as short as possible because it is so cold. It's been in the 40s like all day. I'm supposed to be like having a great time viewing Mount Fuji. But Mount Fuji's covered by fucking clouds and it's snowing. Anyway, it's not like actively snowing right now, but there's been a couple flurries that have come out throughout the day. They said go in the spring. It'll be so fun. I mean, like, do come in the spring, and the cherry blossoms have been beautiful when I've seen them, but it's been raining, and so like it's dropping all the petals early. So yeah, but anyway, you're not here to hear about that. You're here to hear about books. So I finished The Lost Stories. It was good for what it was. Some of them, the ones that happened like in the middle of the series, I found more interesting than the ones that happened before or after. And I don't know a whole lot about the Ranger, which is the Royal Ranger, which is the sequel series. But I don't think this one sets that up very well, because I think it takes place like 20 years later or something like that, like significantly later. And then, but it did, one of the short stories did kind of set up the beginning of the Brotherhood. Oh, I don't remember what it's called, but the prequel series that follows Holt and Crawley. So that was really interesting to like read about, and it makes me excited to like pick that up eventually, but not right now. I did read the first chapter of The Kingdom of Ash. Oh wait, let me tell you what the Ranger's Apprentice series is about in case you want to read it, since I'm finishing series. So it follows primarily this boy named Will and this man named Holt. And Will is an orphan. He doesn't know who his parents are, and so he is living as a ward of the fief. Basically, in this world, it's like ancient Europe. I keep calling it a fantasy book. It didn't occur to me until I was reading some of the author's note, like sections in the Royal Ranger, or not the Royal Ranger, the Lost Stories. This is not a fantasy at all. There's no fantasy elements in this entire book. Just the fact that it's set in like medieval Europe. Even though it's not called Europe, but it is Europe. Oh, I don't know if you can see. It is in fact now flurrying again. So I'll keep it even shorter. But Will is an orphan, and as an orphan, when he and his ward mates turn 15 to 16, that age range, they can basically go with one of the local guild masters to like learn a trade. And if none of the guild masters pick them, then they go and become a farmer. And Will wants to become a knight because he thinks his father was a knight. He thinks his father was a hero. And so he's like all scrawny. He's like, imagine like little itty bitty Hinata from Haikyuu, like not knight material. And so he goes to like the selection and he doesn't get picked. And then the Ranger, they're like the spies of the kingdom. They're very mysterious. People are scared of them. So the Ranger Holt basically goes up to the Baron, who's like the leader of the castle, and hands him a letter. And Will's like, I have to know what's in that letter. And so he sneaks in, and the letter is empty. And Holt's like, I just wanted to see what you would do. And so then Holt takes him to be his apprentice. And Will is like very skeptical. He still kind of wants to be a knight. But yeah, and then they go on more adventures together. It's a middle grade novel. It's a middle grade series, but it doesn't read middle grade. I guess technically it's not middle grade, but yeah, it's just so good and so entertaining. I highly recommend, and it like holds up. Like those books came out in like the early 2000s, so yeah. And then I read the first chapter of Kingdom of Ash. I'm like, I had to like refresh myself on all of the like stuff that happens in the previous books, because this is the 7th book in the Throne of Glass series. If you don't know what the Throne of Glass series is, the synopsis of the first book is, or like the interest points of the first book is, it follows this assassin, and she gets picked up by the prince to be his champion in these trials to be the king's assassin. and there's a lot of like intrigue. It's a very political fantasy. Now it's like really snowing. So it's a political fantasy, and oh my gosh, it's like legitimately snowing. Like I could pick this up. But yeah, it's really interesting. I know there's some like people are like, oh, you should read the prequel first, you should read the prequel second, like whatever. My recommendation is read The Throne of Glass, the first book. If you can't get into Throne of Glass for whatever reason, read the prequel first. But I recommend reading Throne of Glass book 1, Crown of Midnight book 2, and then the prequel, which is Assassin's Blade. That's the order I recommend you read it in. That's the order I read it in, and I can't imagine like reading it any other way. I just like can't get over the fact that it's snowing. It's March 31st. It's supposed to be springtime. It's supposed to be cherry blossoms and fun, and it's snowing. Anyway, so I read the first chapter of that. They're very long books. It's like almost 1,000 pages long. So it's gonna take me some time to get through that. I did also start and finish the second book in the Debutante's duology. So that's the last book, and it's by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and the first one I absolutely adored. It's very, I feel like she tries to force the love plots, the like romance plot lines in her books, and this one it really is no exception. But so that's like kind of the only part that I didn't really like, but the mystery and the intrigue of it just makes up for it. So yeah, I finished it. I don't want to like tell you too much. Both the books, they follow this girl named Sawyer, and she basically, out of the blue, her grandmother comes, and she's living in this backwater town, like very rustic. She's like, she and her mom are like buddy, like the best of friends. They're just getting along paycheck to paycheck, and her grandmother comes in and is like, I'm this rich Southern lady, you should come live with me, and if you do and you participate in debutante season, then I will pay for your college and like give you money. And Sawyer is like, I want to know more about my family, like I want to figure out who my father is. So that's like kind of the first mystery. And then she finds out more information, and like there's just so much intrigue, and so some of the information that she finds out in the first book leads to the big mystery in the second book, and then like she figures out more information. The thing I like about this series is it's told in kind of like a dual point of view. So like every once in a while you'll get snippets from like what I'll call the current timeline, and it's just like a snippet. It's like one page, maybe not even, where it'll just be like a couple of sentences that kind of hint you in as to what's going on in the present timeline. But most of the book is like 14 weeks ago, and then it like leads up, and I actually really like this formatting, so it's really interesting. And this one also had a like 20 years ago plot line, I guess more than 20 years, like 25, 30 years ago, where again you'd only get like one page of the snippet, and I think it just really added to the mystery. And the thing Jennifer Lynn Barnes does really well in her books is like the mystery aspects and the intrigue, and like giving you just enough that you could theoretically figure it out, but like also everything is so woven together that like it's so difficult to figure out, but like it's so smart, and it makes me feel smart when I like figure out one little detail, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. And that's what happened. I figure out one little detail and the rest of it, absolutely not. So yeah, I just picked up Go Luck Yourself, which is the second book. I don't know what the series is called. It's like the holiday romance, whatever. The first book was The Nightmare Before Christmas. I loved it. The Go Luck Yourself, they're interconnected standalones. So the first one follows Cole, who's the Crown Prince of Christmas, and Hex, who's the Crown Prince of Halloween. This one follows Cole's younger brother. I want to say his name is Nick, because that makes sense to me. No, because Cole is short for Nick Colas, but he's like, I want to be Cole. What's the other brother's name? Chris. Oh, his name is Chris, yeah. And then the son of St. Patrick's Day. So it came out at the beginning of March, and I really want to read it like while it's still March. So yeah, and my hold just came in, and I'm gonna call this finishing a series because it's finishing all the books that are currently out in the series. So yeah, the only other book that's like kind of on my radar for this, because I want to do it just like while I'm in Japan, is I don't remember what the series is called, Glimmer Falls maybe, or that may be a different series. But it's the first one is how to fake date a demon, the second one is how to woo a witch, and this one is, or maybe it's not woo a witch, this one is about a werewolf, and it's got a purple cover and it's so pretty. And so that, it's only 3 books, and so that's the last one I have. So that's my other book that's on my radar, and I'm gonna go get out of the snow now. So that's my update. Hello. So I finished another book, so I have another update. I'm in Kyoto now. Kimono. That's the update. But the book. I mentioned yesterday was the 31st, today's the 1st. So last night I started, but I've already forgotten what the title is, Go Luck Yourself. This book, the peak entertainment. So it follows Chris, who, if you read the first book, the series is called Royals and Romance. I think the series should be called, like, Holiday Royal Romances, or the Holiday Royals Romances, something like that. Like, I think the holiday aspect is what makes this series like really interesting, not the royal bit, but I digress. Anyway, so the first book is The Nightmare Before Christmas, which follows Cole, who is the crown prince of Christmas, and Hex, who's the crown prince of Halloween. And basically in this world, it's like our world, but it's kind of like the Harry Potter magic system where it's just like layered over top of ours. You have the holidays, and they get the magic from the joy that comes from the holidays. So that's like a little bit of the world. But this book follows Chris, who is Cole's younger brother, so the other Prince of Christmas, and it follows Lachlan Patrick, who is the Crown Prince of St. Patrick's Day. So this book takes place over St. Patrick's Day. Y'all, this book is so silly goofy, but also like kind of deals with some like serious like trauma issues. So the entire book is from Chris's point of view, and he is dealing with a lot of people's expectations of like perfectionism, and he really wants like this happily ever after, but he's not quite sure how to get it. And he is trying to like figure out where his place in Christmas is and where his place in the world is and what he wants to do, and like trying to figure out how to be selfish, which seems like a weird thing to be, but thinking about himself first and putting his own joy ahead of everybody else. And so yeah, I thought this book was absolutely amazing. I love Lachlan and Chris's relationship. His name is Christopher, so they get introduced to each other as like Christopher and Lachlan, and then they quickly devolve into calling each other Chris and Locke. But like Lachlan's endless amount of nicknames for Chris is just like absolutely amazing. So the book starts off, they both go to Cambridge, and they're basically like fighting over the study room. Like one of them always gets there first, and then the other person wants the study room because it's like the ideal study room, like the perfect airflow. Like, you know, when you find the perfect study spot, that is your study spot. So Chris basically uses his Christmas magic to fill the study room with tinsel when Lachlan refuses to give it to him. And it starts like a little incident, and this isn't like a spoiler, it happens in like the first chapter or two, and Chris finds out, or Cole finds out, and Cole was like the troublemaker, and so he like frames the picture of Lachlan covered in tinsel that ends up on the like holiday press and calls it like baby's first political scandal. Just like the whole book is so silly goofy. It's absolutely amazing. It is quite spicy. The spice doesn't come in until like 3/4 of the way through, so like you definitely get the buildup of the relationship before you get into any of the spice, but it is like quite a bit more. I'm very like, I'd like to think I'm spice tolerant. I'm like spice tolerant in the type of spice, but I'm like spice intolerant in the amount of spice. So this one definitely didn't cross that line for me. So I really had no problem with it, but yeah, 5 stars. I was so entertained. I didn't want to put it down. I was reading it last night, and it hit like 11:30, and I'm like, I told myself I was gonna go to bed before midnight because I had to get up at 5 a.m. to catch the train here to Kyoto. And I'm like, yeah, my one complaint is that the chapters are kind of long. Like, there were definitely some moments where I was like, oh, the chapter could have stopped here. And I think that's just like the general like universal reader experience. We love short chapters, but this one was kind of long. But yeah, not like egregiously long, but like it would take me like 20 to 30 minutes to get through a chapter at least. So, but I'm also like not a super fast reader. I'm actually a pretty slow reader, so like take that with what you will. Anyway, that's my update. I have checked out, and now it's the first, so I can like finally start reading all the books I wanted to wait until April to read so I could count them for my actual readathon. First of all, what's it called? Bad Blood, the final book in the Natural series, which is the next book I will be reading for this video. So yeah, I'm just kind of like hanging around today, taking pictures. If you go to Kyoto and you like want to take pictures, there's like an entire stretch on the east side of the city where it's just temple, shrine, park, temple, shrine, park, temple, shrine, park. So I'm like making my way there. I am like halfway through it and I'm like already exhausted because I'm walking around in like basically what's equivalent of flip-flops and no pants because it's dress. So, and also like, oh, you can't see it. I'll tilt it down a little bit. Breathing is optional, so that's my update. Okay, bye. Hello. So last night I finished Bad Blood. It was not as good as I was hoping it would be. I gave it a 3.5. I was kind of let down by like the completion of the series. Yeah, I feel like we didn't get enough character development for Leah or Michael for my taste. I don't think I've told you what the series is about. So it's basically these like really gifted kids who are recruited by the FBI, and they're called naturals. And so like two of them are profilers. There's Sloane, who's like a super genius. She's great with numbers. And then you have Leah, who's like kind of a pathological liar, but also like can tell if anybody's lying. And then you have Michael, who can like read emotions off people's faces like in an instant. So yeah, Michael and Leah, who I think are the most interesting characters, at least to me. They did not get as much development as I was hoping they would. And then also there was a character who was introduced who I feel like was just introduced for plot convenience. Yeah, so I wasn't a huge fan of her. Like, it's a she. Every time like she was brought up, it was only to like further the plot. Like she had no character like unto herself. Like she did a little bit, but like it was all very surface level. And I feel like because she has a connection to one of the other characters who's like been in the series the whole time, and I feel like if she had been brought up earlier, because like even one of the other characters was like, oh, why have we never heard of her before? So yeah, I don't know. Like she was very convenient, and a lot of the plot in this felt very rushed and very convenient. I wish there was a little bit more. I wish there was one more book. Or like this one was like 150 pages longer to like really delve into some of the mystery and like give it a little bit more breathing room, because I feel like everything just kind of fell into place for them, especially at the end. So it was a little annoying, but it was still good, and I finished. So that's that. And then today I've been working my way through Our Dark Duet, which is the second book in the Monsters of Verity duology. And this duology, it's by V.E. Schwab, or Victoria Schwab. I know they're interchangeable, and I know she like publishes under each name depending on what genre, I think. And I don't remember which one this one officially is. But this duology follows these two people, and it's a dystopian world set in the US. I'm not sure exactly where, it doesn't matter. And it's like 40 years after the collapse of civilization, and basically these monsters can be created by people doing bad acts. For example, if there's this woman, just random character, who like runs her ex-husband over with a car, and like she had been abused by her husband, and she said like, but this bad act that she did created a monster, and there's a specific kind of monster that can only be created from tragedy, like mass murders, suicide bombings, like all these horrible things, and they're called sunai. And these sunai can use music to basically see if people have like created a monster from their bad deeds. So if I had created a monster from my bad deed, if I was the woman who killed my husband, then my soul would be red. And when a Tsunai came and played their music and saw my soul would be red. And if I hadn't done anything bad, then my soul would be white. And so we follow two characters. We're in the city called Verity, which is why it's the Monsters of Verity. And the city is split in half. And so the north side is run by the Harker Corporation. Like, maybe it's just like the one guy. But he basically is like this mafia boss type character. And his daughter Kate is the one is one of the two that we're following. And she like kind of just wants to be like her dad. Like people basically pay him for his protection from the monsters. And then on the south side we have the Flynn family, and they're more like a resistance. And you have August, who is one of these Tsunai monsters, and he wants to be human, but he's like struggling with the duality of being a monster but wanting to be human. And Kate is a human but wants to act like a monster like her father, because she like wants his approval. And so this is the second book of their story, and I'm really enjoying it so far. So I'll give you more of my thoughts when I'm done with it. I'm like a quarter of the way through it. So yeah. And then I've also been working my way through Kingdom of Ash. I'm like 100 pages into it. It is the final book in the Throne of Glass series, which is a long-ish, semi-long fantasy series that follows. So the plot of the first book is there's this really famous assassin in this country called Otterlin, and her name is Selena Sardothian, and she basically gets pulled by Crown Prince Dorian to compete in these trials to be the king's assassin, and it just takes off from there. And so everybody loves the series. I enjoy the series, but so far I've only had one 5-star book in the series, and it was Empire of Storms. And there's just like one character and one plot line in the book right now that like I'm just not vibing with at all. And there's one character who's alluding to something that like, if that's true, I'm gonna be so pissed off. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. It's like almost 1,000 pages, so like I'm nowhere near. I think I'm like 11% of the way in, and yeah, I guess maybe not quite 1,000 pages, like 980 something, I think. But yeah, I'm working my way through it, working my way downtown. Anyway, I'm at this really cute book cafe right now, so just vibing. Yeah, that's my update. I'll let you know when I finish the Our Dark Duet. And then I think the next book, I want something a little more light, a little more fun. So I think next I'm going to pick up Mr. Wrong Number. And I have no idea what that book is about, but I assume it's going to be rom-com-ish. So we'll see. All right, that's it for now. Bye-bye. Okay, so I just finished Our Dark Duet. Emotions are so high. I feel like if I had read it back to back, like if I had read This Savage Song and then Our Dark Duet, both the books in the Monsters of Verity duology back to back, I would have sobbed in this one. Nobody is safe. Everybody feels all the emotional damage. Like, it's not a dark book in that it makes you not want to read it, but it's a dark book in that the characters do dark things. It's it deals with a lot of questions of morality and what makes somebody right versus somebody wrong, what makes somebody innocent versus guilty, where does the line between black and white stop, and what do those shades of gray look like. And so I think that's a really interesting discussion, and the book does such a good job of talking about it, and I'm just like not over the emotions of it. Like, oh, I think it's a 4-star. The first half of it really kind of dragged for me, and that's where I think like if I had read them back to back, like I would have been a little bit more okay with some of the build up to the second half of this book, but yeah, it also, I had to like, normally when I like don't read series together, because I usually don't, I'm like okay with like picking up the plot as I go. This one, you can't really pick up the plot as you go. You kind of have to know what's going on, like, going into it. Another reason that I think it should have been read back to back, but I still enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I think if I had read them back to back, it would have been, it has the potential to be a 5-star, but I still, like, I felt all the emotions, but the first half just dragged a little bit for me. So yeah, I really want to read a lot more of V.E. Schwab's writing. Not the Darkest Minds, the Dark Prophecy. No, that's not right either. The Dark Magician. Whatever that series is, it's a trilogy she has, and I really want to get to that soon. But yeah, not today. Yeah, today, and potentially my last book, because I'm in Japan for the rest of today. It's like 3 o'clock right now. And then all of tomorrow, and then the day after that is the day that I leave and go back to Taipei. So I only got a couple more days, and the next book I'm picking up is going to be Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. This is the first book in the connected standalone duology. I didn't realize The Love Wager was a part of Connected Standalone when I read it like 2 years ago. But I just need, after my emotions are wrought, like, and I thought this might happen, which is why I saved it for this spot in my like reading order. But it's a cute little romance. The Love Wager, which is the one that I read, is about these 2 people, and I remember liking it, but I don't remember any of their names, usual. But it's about these 2 people, and they basically are trying to like find the perfect match for the other person, because they have a wager on it. And then this one is called Mr. Wrong Number, and I think it's a best friend's brother slash best friend's sister, or no, brother, the brother's best friend slash best friend's sister. And I think it's, I mean, like, they obviously text and they don't know, and then I think he finds out first. And I think they also like live together for a while. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what tropes are in this, but I'm hoping for just like a good, fun, silly rom-com time. So that's what I got so far. Yeah, I really like Lynn Painter's adult books a lot better than her YA books. I feel like she dumbs down her YA books to like make them appeal to YA readers, and I don't think she needs to. I've heard the same thing about Brandon Sanderson. Like, apparently he dumbs down his YA stuff as well. But yeah, I really like her adult books. The Love Wager, Accidentally Amy, whatever her other ones are, I'm forgetting right now. But yeah, so Mr. Wrong Number, and that's for my book. I had to spin a color wheel for Magical Readathon, and I got pink, and this is a like very neon pink cover. So yeah, and it'll finish this series that I'm like technically started, but like didn't realize it was a series, because you know they're connected standalone. So yeah, I'm sure these characters appeared in the other one, because that's usually what happens. But I don't remember, and it was 2 years ago since I read that book. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be reading for the rest of the day. Maybe go into tomorrow. It's short. I think it's like just around 300 pages. So I might finish it today. We'll see. I think I have like an hour and a half back to Osaka. So maybe I'll get a good chunk of it there. Okay, that's all I got. Bye-bye. So I didn't think I'd be back with an update on the same day, but here I am. It's like 8 p.m. now. I finished Mr. Wrong Number. I have some thoughts. So the basic plot, I think I rambled on some tropes, but basically it follows this girl, Olivia, and she has like the worst luck. And it starts with her moving in with her brother temporarily, because she accidentally burned down her apartment building. Yeah, the entire building. Which gives you a sense of what her luck is like, because she was burning love letters that her ex had written her, and like she was doing it all safely, but a possum knocked over the like bucket that she was using to burn the letters. Like, think like Eliza Hamilton, like in the bucket, like burning the letters, and a possum knocked it over and set her entire apartment building on fire. And so she's moving in with her brother temporarily, and her brother has a roommate who is this guy Connor, who she and her brother went to high school with, and like it's her brother's best friend. And they've always kind of had an antagonistic relationship, but yeah, and so it's like their romance story. I was really vibing with it until the sex started. And normally, like, it's an adult romance book. And it's an adult romance book, so I expect like some level of spice. And it wasn't like the level of spice or really the amount of spice that like put me off, but their relationship was pretty believable up until the sex started. And I actually had to like rewind back in the audiobook because it just made no sense. Like they were talking and she gets some good news, and then they hug, and then he just starts kissing her, and she's like, I'm gonna kiss him back. And I'm just like, you went from like barely tolerating each other, like it was so insta-lovey, it was just weird, like, and it was unbelievable. Like I was believing their relationship up until that point. I think if it had waited like another 2 or 3 weeks and like built up from like barely tolerating to like kind of flirty, then like it would have made more sense. So I think like the relationships between the characters, so there's the guy Connor, he does figure out that she is the one that he accidentally mistexted, and she doesn't find out until much later on. And so I think like, I don't know if in his mind he like got the two confused, or like there just seemed to be a step in like their actual physical like face-to-face relationship that like they missed. So I'm gonna give it 3 stars. The first like third to like 40% I really enjoyed, and then the last bit I didn't like as much. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3 star. The next book I'm gonna pick up, because I had to like think about this, I'm like running out of books, but there is one more for sure. Well, I'm still reading Kingdom of Ash, still stuck in that. It's so long. But the next book I'm gonna pick up is A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire, and this is the 3rd and final book in another series of connected standalones called the Glimmer Falls series, and they all take place in Glimmer Falls. The first book is A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. I don't know what that's about. And then the second book is A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch. And then this one is A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire. And it follows one character we're familiar with. His name is Ben. He runs a plant shop that the main character from book 1, what's her name, Maple, something like that, she works at this plant store. And so we get introduced to him there. And then like, it's just a place that comes up every once in a while, and I really like Ben. He's really cute. I'm excited to get to know, like, his personality is very cute, because I just imagine like a Neville Longbottom type character, and he just like runs a little plant shop. It's so adorable in my mind. And then I think he like accidentally ends up connected to this this vampire succubi woman, who I think is the new character who we haven't met yet. So we'll see. I really liked the first one. I enjoyed the second one, but it wasn't my favorite. But also like I knew it probably wasn't gonna be, because the characters that it followed weren't my favorite from the first book. But I'm cautiously optimistic about this one because I really enjoyed Ben. And I think that he is just like a cutie little patootie, and that's the energy I need right now. So yeah, that's the plan to read for tonight/tomorrow. I think it's an 11-hour audiobook, so it'll take me like 4 hours to get through probably. So at least the update will be coming tomorrow, because I will not be giving you another update tonight, even if I finish it, because that would be at like midnight. So yeah, that's what I got. Okay, bye. So I've just finished A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire, which is the third and final book in the Glimmer Falls series by Sarah Hawley. And oh, it was so cute. I give it a 4.5 stars. Yeah, I love Ben. He is so cute and adorable, and it's just like, he's not like white golden retriever energy, but he's very much like a I would do anything to make you happy, mostly because my anxiety won't let me do otherwise kind of character, and I just love that. And the lady of the hour, in my mind her name is Eleanor, but there's like an extra syllable in there somewhere. It's like Elaine. I don't even know. She was interesting. I like her, but like I adore Ben. But I think they're really cute together, and I really like them together. On that note, I cannot think of another series that I'm like in the middle of, or that I'm like, I only have one book left to finish. So my next book, I'm still in the middle of reading Kingdom of Ash, which is the last Throne of Glass book, but for an audiobook, I want to read The Thief by, what's his name? By Fushinori Nakamura. This book is about a thief, a pickpocket in Tokyo, and it is a book written by a Japanese author, and then translated into English. And so it was one of the books I wanted to read while I was specifically in Japan, because it is by a Japanese author and I want to read it in Japan. And it's like really short. It's like 200 pages. So I can definitely finish it tonight, and if not, I have like a 2-hour train ride back to Tokyo tomorrow, and then my flight back to Taipei. So my prediction is I'm gonna finish it tonight, and then tomorrow I will just like work on reading Kingdom of Ash, and like hopefully I finish it by the time I get back to Taipei. That's the goal. But yeah, so yeah, I have done really well, because I was like, my notion for my series isn't like quite set up yet. It's like it exists and all the series are in there, but I don't have them like ordered or like set to their status or like have all the books attached to them yet. So there's like a little bit of like, maybe I should have waited to do that first, but I thought I was gonna have plenty of books. But yeah, I've knocked out 6. Is that right? Let's see. Missed the wrong number. I'll do a recap at the end. But yeah, I really enjoyed the whole Glimmer Falls series. They're cute little urban fantasies. They fall under the trend of like modern day witches that has been like really popping up lately. What is it? The Irresistible Witch. What's that book called? It's got the blue cover, and it's the witch and the single dad of like 3 kids, and she's teaching like the little witch children how to like do their magic. I haven't read it yet. It's on my TBR, but I always forget what the title of it is. I don't remember, but like that, like there's a bunch that have popped up recently, and this is one of them, so I do recommend it. But yeah, that's it. I will next be reading The Thief by Fushinori Nakamura. Yep. Hello. So I did not end up finishing anything else, but I figured I would give you a final wrap up. So I'm back in Taipei. Yay. And yeah, so while I was in Japan, I finished 7 books. Yay me! I started 2 other books that I did not finish, one of which was Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J Maas, which is the 7th book in the Throne of Glass series. I've mentioned it several times. It's just a long book. I knew I probably wasn't going to finish it while I was in Japan, but I am working my way through it. It's starting to pick up a little bit, so yay. And then the other book that wasn't actually for this video was The Broken Prince by Aaron Watt, which is the 2nd book in the Royals series. And I just like had the urge to pick up Paper Princess in March, and so when April like started, I was like, you know what, I just want to continue on with this dumpster fire of a reality TV book series, which is like really the only way I can describe it. So those two I'm still in the middle of because I'm reading them physically, or like I'm like reading them, not listening to them, but that's not what you're here about. You're here about the series that I did finish. So the first book I read was The Lost Stories by John Flanagan. I don't have my ratings here, they're in my other journal, so I told you them earlier, but yeah. This is the last and final book of the Ranger's Apprentice series. I think I gave it a 3.5. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a good wrap up to the series. It's a collection of like novellas and short stories, so yeah, and it makes me excited to pick up both the prequel series, which I always forget the name of. It's like the Ranger Brotherhood, something like that, and then the sequel series, which is the Warrior Ranger. And then the second book I finished was Deadly Little Scandal by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the second book in the Debutante's duology. This one I really enjoyed. I am like a little bit fed up with like one particular trope though. And so I think I'm going to avoid that one trope, which that book features heavily. I won't say what it is because it is a spoiler. But the series is a like YA mystery set in the South. And like set in the rich South, which is really interesting. The next book I finished was Go Luck Yourself by, oh, where's the author name on my random page? Sarah Hawley. And this isn't a finished series, but I did catch up with the series. So this is the second book in the Royals and Romance series, which follows these holiday royals as they navigate their love and their politics. This one was so interesting. I love Locke and Chris. I love Chris especially. Oh my gosh, my poor baby boy. I love him though. The next series I finished was the Natural series with Bad Blood, but also by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which is the same author as the Debutante series. That book I was kind of disappointed in, especially since All In, which is the third book in the series, I gave 5 stars, and then this one I think I gave like 3.5. Like, I was just like very disappointed with the conclusion of this series. Like, I feel like there was so much going on and like so much good that was going on that this book, like, it just didn't do it for me. The next series I finished is the Monsters of Verity duology with the book Our Dark Duet by V.E. Schwab, or Victoria Schwab. That book I also really enjoyed, but the series, the duology, I think I would have benefited from reading them back to back. The next book I finished was Mr. Wrong Number, which is the second book in the connected standalones of the Mr. Wrong Number duology. Yeah, that one was just fine. I was really enjoying it up until the smut started, and I'm not like anti-smut, but I felt like their relationship was developing really well, and if they had given it like another like 2 or 3 weeks like in book time, I feel like it would have been a little bit more believable. But it just like, it went from them like tolerating each other to like fucking, and I'm like, that's a little much. And then the last book I finished for this series is A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire. This is a book by, oh no, this is the book by Sarah Hawley. Who wrote Go Luck Yourself? Sarah, is it Sarah Rash? I get all the Sarahs confused. And like some of them spell it S-A-R-A, some of them spell it S-A-R-A-H. Oh my gosh, there's just so many Sarahs right now. But that one is by Sarah Hawley. I think Go Luck Yourself was by Sarah Rash. And this is the third and final book in the Glimmer of Falls connected standalone series. I really enjoyed it. I felt like it was interesting because it takes place 2 years after the first 2 books, but it follows Ben and Eleanor. It's Eleanor, but there's an extra syllable in there somewhere. that bird is not happy. And I really enjoyed this one. I felt like this one was definitely a good conclusion to the series. So yeah, those are the 7 books I read. I'm sure you are tired of me talking about them because I've given you my full in-depth thoughts already, presumably. If you have, I mentioned, I think in my last clip that I didn't have any more series that I thought I was in the middle of. I was proven wrong. I was just like scrolling through Libby, as one does, and I came across the second book in the, like, not better than the movies, better than the movies. I read better than the movies, and then I don't remember what the second one is. It's got like the purple cover. It was like a huge thing last year. I don't remember what the reviews of it were. But I remember it like coming out and people were like obsessed with it. So I haven't read that one. And then also the series I always forget that I'm technically in the middle of is Divine Rivals. I have not read Ruthless Vows, so I could have read that. I just forgot. So yeah, I could read those eventually. If you have any other series that I've like talked about in the past that you're like, you're actually like almost done with this series. Anyway, there's a lot of series that I'm like in the middle of, or like I've only read the first book, which like I probably should stop doing, but I will not. But this video I specifically wanted to finish series. Only like I only had one more book in the series, to just like knock a bunch off, and I knocked 7 off, and I'm going to knock off 8 soon whenever I finish Kingdom of Ash. If I finish it in this lifetime, who knows. It's really like not that long. I'm like also in the middle of like a 1,800 page fan fiction that I'm like further in than Kingdom of Ash, even though I started it afterwards. So like, don't ask me where my priorities are in reading like actual like with my eyes, because there are no priorities. But yeah, if you need any like fanfic recommendations, or if you have any fanfic recommendations, oh my gosh, I would love them. I read a lot of Stray Kids fanfiction, a lot of My Hero Academia fanfiction, a lot of Marvel fanfiction, but I'm like kind of open to anything. I read one Go Luck Yourself fanfiction that was like actually pretty good, but like, oh my gosh, Chris, the boy has so much trauma in that one. But there's also only like 25 available, and like most of them are like just like pure smut, which like is okay, but not what I was in the mood for. Anyway, I am going to wrap up this video, so I hope you have a good day, a good night, a good morning, whatever time it is for you, and I will see you someplace else on the internet. Bye bye.